Today we're going to be looking at health behaviour change theory and the techniques that health professionals can use to help patients to make lifestyle changes. The aim of this session is that by the end you will understand the theory of health behaviour change with specific reference to the trans-theoretical model, and also understand the basic principles of health behaviour change techniques used within healthcare. As can be seen below, there are four main models of change. There's the health belief model, the trans-theoretical model of change, the 5 A's behavioural intervention protocol, and the social cognitive theory. Today we are going to be focusing on the trans-theoretical model of change. The trans-theoretical model of change is a concept formalised by Prochaska and DiClemente in their work with smokers trying to change their behaviour. This original paper was written in 1983 and the reference for it can be found at the end of this video. On this slide, you will see the 5 different stages of change which are set out in the trans-theoretical model. Each stage leads on to the next stage. However, you will note that from each stage you can relapse back to any stage in the cycle. The pre-contemplation stage is when people are not thinking seriously about change and are not interested in any kind of help. These people tend to defend their current bad habits and do not feel that it is a problem. In the contemplation stage, people are more aware of the consequences of their habits and spend time thinking about them. They tend to weigh up the pros and cons, but they may doubt that the long-term benefit of change will outweigh the short-term costs. In the preparation stage, people make a commitment to make a change. They tend to gather information about what they will need to do to change their behaviour. However, some people try to move directly from contemplation to action, missing out the preparation stage. These people tend to fall flat on their faces as they haven't adequately accepted what it is going to take to make a major change. In the action stage, people believe they have the ability to change their behaviour and are actively taking steps to do so. At this point, they depend on their own willpower and are at greatest risk for relapse. People at this stage tend to be open to receiving help and are likely to seek support. The last stage can be seen as the maintenance stage. The goal of the maintenance stage is to maintain the new status quo. People in this stage tend to remind themselves of how much progress they have made. They are also able to anticipate the situations in which a relapse could occur and prepare coping strategies in advance. It is normal to regress, i.e. reach one stage only to fall back to a previous stage. In this slide, the trans-theoretical model can be seen as a cycle. The pre-contemplation stage occurring before you enter the cycle. It is normal for people to go through the stages in the cycle several times before coming out the other side into the maintenance stage. You will see that relapse is also included within the cycle. Again, it is normal for people to relapse a number of times before achieving a stable lifestyle change. When a person relapses, this is often accompanied by feelings of discouragement and failure. It is important at this point to analyse why they have relapsed and to learn new coping strategies to avoid a further relapse in the future. At this point, I would like you to pause this video and go back to the GCU Learn site and look at the 5-minute video on the trans-theoretical model of change with specific reference to exercise. Following watching the video, please return to this video and we will discuss health behaviour change techniques. There are many different techniques used to enable people to change their behaviours and to make healthy lifestyle choices. A few which we will explore today are action planning and smart goal setting, self-monitoring, if-then plans, and weighing up pros and cons. Action planning and smart goal setting. Action planning is a tool to engage patients in behaviour change discussion. This discussion should always be patient-driven, specific and realistic. You should be looking at what the patient would like to do to improve their health. As part of this action plan setting, you should set SMART goals. SMART goals, as you will see on the slide, should be specific, i.e., who is involved? What do I want to accomplish? Where will it be done? Why am I doing this? Which constraints and requirements do I have? It should be measurable so you can track the progress and measure the outcome. The goal should be achievable. It should be realistic for your patient to achieve. There should also be a time frame set for your SMART goals. This helps it to be more accountable and helps in motivation. For a demonstration on action planning and SMART goal setting, please go back to GCU Learn and watch the appropriate video. If-then plans are put in place to anticipate common barriers to change and also how to overcome these barriers. For example, if somebody has chosen to make dietary changes and is trying to avoid fatty foods, it may be that they are invited to a friend's house and presented with a cream cake. They then have to decide the course of action that they would take in this situation in order to not relapse in their diet. Please again stop the video at this point and go back to the GCU Learn website and watch the video on if-then plans. Weighing up pros and cons is a very important part of any behaviour change technique. Its technical term is decisional balance, and like a weight scale, one side, the pros, versus the other side, the cons. The pros and cons will often predict who succeeds at self-change and who does not. For change to be successful, the pros must outweigh the cons. The easiest way to implement this is simply to get the patient to write down the pros of making the change and also the cons of making that change. It may also be worthwhile to get them to write down the pros and cons of not making the change to let them compare these. Self-monitoring is a valuable tool that the patient will take away with them and complete between sessions with the therapist. It's often used in the form of a diary, and as can be seen in this example, an exercise diary where you put the date, the type of exercise, how much exercise you've done and how many miles. The patient completes this during the week and then it is reviewed at their next session. Here are some further resources on health behaviour change. These links will also be available on the GCU Learn website.